Now, another stock that you must watch out in tomorrow's trading session has to be NMDC. The government has announced there's going to be a 1.5% disinvestment. In fact, the Disinvestment Secretary Neeraj Gupta just confirmed this to me a few minutes ago. The total approval in place of 10%, but right now I guess the government doesn't think there's more appetite. Poonam Saney joining us with that. Poonam, it's a small disinvestment. It's not going to add that much to the kitty. But, if you look at the tax buoyancy, the falling GST collections, the pressure on the fisc, everything is welcome.
I guess so. I like the way you put it, Nantara. Yes, there was an expectation that we would be, the OFS was earlier likely to be at somewhere around 10% but now the government has just announced that the OFS is going to be just about 1.5% and this with a green shoe option of another 1.5%. Agencies are also stating that the OFS price is something around 153.5 rupees per share, which is nearly a 5% discount to the current CMP of 162 rupees odd. Having said that, if you look at the calculation, with just 1.5% stake sale, government would be raising somewhere around 750 odd crore itself, which is a very negligible amount given the kind of divestments that the government was aiming at. Having said that, yes, if you look at the stock itself at around 153.5 with a 5% discount there, it seems that just on the stock price, if you look at the EDIL report only recently, we're stating that EDIL rather had upgraded NMDC stock itself to a buy with a target price of 195 rupees per share, and this was primarily on the back of favorable tailwinds coming on account of towards especially the entire volume growth. The recent price hikes of nearly 19 to 22% is likely to sustain, and hence they raised the target price. So yes, good going from a slightly medium to long term perspective on the stock, but as of now, from a government perspective, it's going to be just about 1.5 stake sale versus the original plan of around 10%, possibly low demand coming in there, and that's possibly one of the reasons there.
Poonam, for putting all of that in perspective. So do watch out for NMDC in tomorrow's trading session. Let me go across to CK. CK, what's your outlook as far as NMDC goes? The government had approval to disinvest up to 10% stake, but obviously feeling maybe there's not much of an appetite, or feeling that right now, it just wants to sell 1.5%.
Well, I think the market seems to be rather, benevolently positioned towards NMDC. If you look at the price action, then we see that there has been considerable robustness attached to it over recent times, particularly in the recent, let's say, a week or more. The stock has really spiraled upward, suggesting that buyers are aggressively punting on prospects for NMDC. Now, whether they are choosing to follow the news or they have some other reasons for doing so, that seems to be largely irrelevant. But the fact is that near-term price action of NMDC has been extremely robust. Now, where does all this fit into the larger term? Then you will find that NMDC is actually rallying up after quite a substantial decline, which had brought it down to much lower levels, and at the lower level we actually found a pattern of accumulation forming. So very clearly NMDC has been accumulated at lower levels, and what we are seeing currently is probably a result of that accumulation, which should most certainly help it to send some more, it should go up some more further distance from here and possibly reach up to at least another maybe 15% from where it is currently before it runs into some sort of supply again. So if one is holding on to NMDC from lower levels, I would suggest continuing with that position. If you're looking to punt on it, then the current momentum can probably help you out with some further gains to be made even at the current price levels. So it's a decent long play at the current levels as well as for the near term.
Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. So that's his view as far as NMDC goes. Today closing at 161.85. The OFS has been priced at 153 rupees a piece.